You live in chains, and you dare call it freedom. You cling to ideals that keep you docile, compliant, predictable. You move through the world as if the rules were written for your benefit, as if honesty, kindness, and passive waiting will one day grant you victory. But look around you. Power does not reward innocence. Power does not bend to naive virtue. Power consumes it. And you, without knowing, are already half devoured. You wonder why you are overlooked, why you are used, why others advance while you stagnate. It is because you have chosen weakness as a creed. You wait for fairness. Yet fairness is a myth. You act as if the battlefield of life is a court of justice. It is not. It is a war zone where hesitation costs territory, where trust without calculation is betrayal of yourself, where silence without strategy is erasure. You want to be seen, to be recognized, but you do not yet understand. The visible are the first to be targeted. The loudest become the easiest to predict, the easiest to flank, the easiest to eliminate. Those who reveal their intent are already defeated before the first clash. And yet you shout your desires into the world as if anyone cares. You expose your plans, your emotions, your loyalty, believing that transparency is strength. It is not. It is weakness paraded as virtue. Machiavellian strategy dictates that survival and dominance belong not to the loud, but to the silent. The silent are unreadable. The silent are undetectable. The silent maneuver while others announce. The silent see while others perform. I once warned that men are blind to reality, that they invent illusions to soothe themselves. You are one of them. You believed that decency alone would grant you control. It has not. It never will. You ask why the strong remain untouchable. It is because they do not reveal their pulse. They move like shadows, silent threats. Undetectable tactics. They let others exhaust themselves in noise, in declarations, in wasted displays. They conserve energy, bide their time, and strike only when victory is certain. While you squander your strength in reaction, they build arsenals of leverage, while you waste breath defending yourself. They orchestrate psychological operations that dismantle your will. Your blindness has been conditioned. Since birth, you have been trained to obey, trained by teachers, by parents, by leaders who demanded compliance. You learned to raise your hand, to wait your turn, to accept the rules handed down from above. You mistook obedience for safety. But what safety has it given you? None. It has left you defenseless, predictable, soft, conditioned to kneel even when no one is watching. The chain of command that governs your life was built for the benefit of others, not you. You are the soldier at the bottom, carrying supplies, enduring attrition, dying, nameless in the mud, while rulers exchange handshakes in gilded halls. You tell yourself you are free, but your obedience has already written your fate. You are not free. You are conscripted. The battlefield rewards the commander, not the pawn. Yet, you still move like a pawn straight. Obvious, expendable. Pawns never become silent threats. Pawns are sacrificed. Do you understand? Every day you remain passive. Every day you show your hand. You dig your own grave. And so the time has come for transformation. To remain naive is to remain disposable. To embrace strategy is to become untouchable. You must learn the undetectable tactic, the art of silence that conceals, the discipline that starves your enemy of information, the patience that allows you to act only when the battlefield bends to you. You will not announce. You will not explain. You will not justify. You will observe, map, and calculate. Your silence will suffocate those who try to read you. Your unpredictability will paralyze those who seek to control you. You will starve them of reconnaissance. blind them in darkness. Leave them guessing until the moment you advance with precision. This is not a suggestion. It is survival. You must become a silent threat, a presence that no one can measure, a force that moves without sound until its strike collapses the opposition. Only then will you command the field. You have been blind because blindness was convenient. To see clearly would have forced you to act, to abandon comfort, to dismantle the fragile illusions that made you feel safe. You chose blindness because it kept you innocent in your own eyes. But innocence is the mask of weakness, and weakness is exploited without hesitation. Your blindness was not ignorance, it was cowardice, dressed as morality. You submit to systems that never intended your rise. You obey laws designed not to protect you but to restrain you. You consume narratives that glorify sacrifice, patience, humility, qualities that ensure you never contest power. The battlefield has been hidden from you, but you have always been standing on it. You are already a soldier, already a pawn, yet you live as if war were optional. War is not optional. It surrounds you in every transaction, every hierarchy, every conversation. Look at the patterns. Those who lead, those who command, those who bend others to their will. They are not better than you, not more intelligent, not more worthy. They simply understood that survival requires calculation, not faith. They learned to watch without speaking, to listen without answering, to collect intelligence while you wasted breath. They became reconnaissance while you became noise. They became commanders while you remained infantry. Every time you speak without control, you surrender reconnaissance to your enemy. You reveal supply lines. You give away maps. You show your troop numbers. And then you wonder why you are ambushed, why your campaigns collapse, why your influence erodes before it even begins. Your undisciplined mouth has cost you more than you can measure. Silence is not absence. Silence is cover. Silence is camouflage. The undetectable tactic is not passivity, it is preparation. When you are silent, you are not nothing. You are everything concealed. You are strategy without exposure, movement without signal, force without warning. The most dangerous armies are not the ones shouting from the hills. They are the ones advancing unseen in the night, cutting supply lines, surrounding cities before dawn. You have been conditioned to equate silence with weakness, to see restraint as defeat. That conditioning is the work of rulers who knew the threat of the undetectable. They wanted you loud, predictable, reactive. They wanted your emotions exposed, your intentions clear, your strategy visible. They taught you to equate noise with strength so that they could measure you, control you, dismantle you before you even began. You believed that transparency would buy trust, but transparency buys vulnerability. You believed that speaking your truth would earn respect, but it only gave others ammunition. You believed that explaining yourself would resolve conflict, but it only revealed your supply lines, your weak points, your hidden fears. Every confession you made to those who did not deserve it was another weapon handed to an enemy who smiled as they took it. Do you understand now why you are overlooked, underestimated, controlled? You have lived as a soldier without armor, announcing every movement, telegraphing every strike, inviting destruction. You have never been a threat because you have never been silent. Machiavellian strategy dictates that perception is the true battlefield. If they cannot read you, they cannot control you. If they cannot anticipate you, they cannot flank you. If they cannot predict you, they cannot prepare for you. Silence turns you into fog, and in fog, armies are destroyed. But silence alone is not enough. A shadow that never strikes is only mist. The undetectable tactic requires timing precise, cold, merciless timing. You must hold your fire until the enemy exposes themselves. You must conserve strength until attrition bleeds them dry. You must endure their noise, their boasts, their careless expenditure of resources, while you grow sharper in silence. And when the moment arrives when their defenses are thin, when their morale is cracked, you advance with precision. No hesitation, no explanation, no retreat. This is how rulers rise. This is how empires expand. This is how individuals seize command of their lives. Not with noise, not with blind faith, not with illusions of fairness, but with undetectable silence followed by devastating force. The cost of remaining naive is total loss. You will lose time. You will lose respect. You will lose your ability to choose. And in the end, you will lose your life to forces you never resisted. If you continue as you are, you will be remembered as another pawn consumed in someone else's war. Nameless, voiceless, irrelevant. I will not soften this truth for you. You are weak because you choose weakness. You are unthreatening because you fear silence. You are dominated because you refuse strategy. But you can change. You can learn to become undetectable. You can sharpen into a silent threat that no one anticipates until it is too late for them. The choice is yours. Remain expendable, or become a commander of your own campaign. You still do not understand the battlefield you inhabit. You imagine power as something external, distant, exercised by rulers or corporations, while you live untouched. But you are wrong. Power is exercised over you every moment of every day. Every advertisement that hijacks your desire is a psychological operation. Every law that dictates your options is a maneuver of control. Every person who extracts your time, your attention, your loyalty is executing strategy against you. And you, untrained, naive, walk willingly into their ambushes. You must begin to think like a commander. Imagine every interaction as a campaign. The terrain is the situation. The resources are your energy. The reconnaissance is the information you gather. If you enter blind, if you act without calculating, you walk into traps. If you expose your intentions, you lose before the first move. Commanders who speak recklessly send armies to slaughter. Soldiers who complain loudly reveal the cracks in morale. Do you see? Every careless word you release is a signal to the enemy. Every impulsive reaction is a gap in your fortress wall. Attrition destroys the undisciplined. You waste energy in arguments, in pointless confessions, in explaining yourself to those who do not care. You drain your own reserves, deplete your supply lines, exhaust your troops. Then, when true conflict arises, you have nothing left. The disciplined conserve. They do not squander. They let others burn themselves out in noise while they remain silent, gathering strength, watching carefully, waiting. Flanking is the art of silence. When you speak, you attack head-on, revealing position and intent. When you remain silent, you circle unseen, studying weaknesses, waiting for the precise angle. Silence allows you to bypass defenses and strike from where the enemy least expects. The loud walk into the front gates and are cut down. The silent move through the shadows, cutting throats in the dark. Which are you now? Which will you become? You have been conditioned to fight directly, to show yourself, to be honest, to be transparent. That conditioning makes you predictable. Predictability is death. The undetectable tactic breaks the conditioning. You train yourself to withhold, to restrain, to become fog that conceals your movements until your strike lands with absolute precision. Psychological warfare begins with silence. If they cannot read you, they grow anxious. If they cannot measure you, they grow paranoid. Silence destabilizes. It forces the enemy to project their fears onto you. They begin to imagine threats greater than you truly are. Their own imagination becomes your army. This is how you dominate without speaking a word, and yet you cling to your weakness. You fear what others will think if you do not explain yourself. You fear being misunderstood, unliked, excluded. But hear this. Those fears are the chains of the dominated. The commander does not explain. The commander does not beg to be understood. The commander gives orders, advances campaigns, achieves objectives. Whether they are loved or hated is irrelevant. Only control matters. Remain passive, and you will remain cannon fodder. Remain loud, and you will remain predictable. Only by becoming silent. Undetectable. Cold. Precise. Do you become a true threat? The cost of this transformation is heavy. You will sacrifice comfort, illusions, the softness of false security. But the alternative is heavier. A life wasted. A life controlled. A life lost without ever commanding the battlefield. You stand at a threshold. On one side is your old self, loud, transparent, predictable, endlessly defeated. On the other side is the silent threat, undetectable, unreadable, patient, prepared, lethal. The choice is yours. But know this: hesitation is already a decision, and it will not be in your favor. Hesitation has been your greatest betrayal. Every time you delayed, every time you second-guessed, every time you sought permission, instead of taking ground, you surrendered terrain that will never return. The battlefield does not wait for the uncertain. While you debate, the enemy advances. While you hesitate, they encircle you. While you excuse yourself, they cut your supply lines and leave you starving in your own fortress. Delay is not neutrality. Delay is death. You tell yourself that patience is virtue. But what you practice is not patience. It is paralysis. Patience in strategy means conserving strength until the strike is inevitable. Paralysis means doing nothing while your position collapses. Learn the difference. You were not patient, you were passive. You were not strategic, you were fearful. And fear is the commander that has ruled your life more effectively than any enemy could. I have seen rulers fall because they believed their people's love would shield them. I have seen generals lose entire campaigns because they trusted in the honor of their allies. They placed faith above reconnaissance, hope above discipline, illusion above truth. And when betrayal came, as it always does, they were unprepared, and they were erased. You are repeating their mistake on a smaller scale. You trust love to protect you. You trust fairness to balance the field. You trust noise to prove your worth. These are illusions that rulers design for pawns like you. Understand this. Rulers weaponize illusion as their most efficient supply line. They feed the masses with stories of justice, loyalty, equality, so that the masses never contest command. They tell you to speak freely while they monitor every word. They tell you to be transparent while they conceal their true intentions. They tell you to be patient while they advance their own campaigns. Illusion is their fortress wall, and you have been bowing at its gates, believing it's sacred. The cost of this blindness is already visible in your life. Count the years you have wasted waiting for fairness. Count the times you have explained yourself to those who never cared. Count the energy you spent defending your innocence instead of building your arsenal. Count the humiliations you endured because you refused to become unreadable. This is your ledger of losses, and it grows heavier every day. You believe you can avoid war by denying it. But war consumes you regardless of belief. Those who think themselves exempt are devoured first. You do not get to choose whether you are in conflict. You are already in it. The only choice is whether you command or are commanded. So hear me now. Tu seid's command. You must adopt the undetectable tactic as your doctrine. You will not announce your ambitions. You will not reveal your movements. You will not grant reconnaissance to anyone. You will starve the enemy of intelligence. You will conserve your energy as if every word spoken, every gesture made, every confession whispered is a ration from your dwindling supply lines. And you will spend those rations only when the gain is absolute. You will treat every conversation as a campaign. You will ask yourself, what do I reveal? And what do I withhold? What information do I extract? And what do I conceal? What position do I advance? And what flank do I guard? This is not paranoia. It is discipline. Commanders who ignore these calculations bury their armies. Commanders who live by them build empires. Your transformation will not be easy. You will feel the old conditioning pulling you back, urging you to confess, to explain, to speak before you think. That is the reflex of the pawn, the reflex that got you here. You must kill that reflex with cold precision. You must teach your tongue that silence is survival. You must teach your mind that exposure is execution. Only then will you begin to sharpen into a presence that cannot be measured, a shadow that cannot be flanked, a force that cannot be subdued. Do not imagine this will make you loved. It will not. You will be feared, distrusted, suspected. That is the cost of command. Better to be suspected and untouchable than to be loved and disposable. Better to be a silent threat than a visible sacrifice.